Let's go ahead and jump into this week's best setups. We do have some good pairs that are lining up that I think can get us some good profits. You know what I'm saying? If we execute right, if we remain patient, and of course, if price gives us our entry. So first one is probably my top pair for this week is CAD JPY. If we see here on the daily, this is just beautiful market structure, right? Price went bullish on the daily, ended up going bearish. Should be super easy to tell exactly what we're looking for. That is for price to come back into this area, close in here, give us our entry potentially, and then look to sell. As you see on the daily, we do have the EMA above price, which we could look for price to potentially use to push down. And this is a very strong area of interest on the daily. We have 1 touch, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it continues left. Now, you don't have to make your areas of interest this long. I just do for, because I like it. And sometimes I don't like it, so I make it shorter. But we have multiple areas throughout here as well. And if we jump to the weekly, we see that the weekly is bearish, in my opinion. Now, some people might not count this as structure. I think it's a big enough move to count as structure, so I would look at it like this. So we ended up breaking that area, going bearish. So we'll just be waiting for a simple pullback. This is how it will look on the weekly to then continue. Or it might not do all that. It might just be a wick into here and then price dumps. But who knows? But this is a strong area of interest as well. We have 1 touch, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So weekly's bearish, daily's bearish. EMA is above because we're looking for sells on both the weekly and daily. That lines up for A+ setup in my book. Of course, as y'all know, I don't grade my trades, but I do think price could push back into here. Now, I do have this other area of interest lined up. So if price doesn't respect this area of interest, I'll just be looking for it to come up and respect this area of interest. Both the weekly and the daily will still be bearish, so we'll still be good. Trade will still be valid. And then we go ahead and look for our entries. So CAD JPY, number 1 pair, in my opinion, for this upcoming week. Second pair is AUD JPY. And this one is pretty much the same thing. 2 areas of interest. The daily is bearish, looks just like CAD JPY. EMA is above price, which is good. If we jump to the weekly, we see that the weekly is bearish as well. EMA is above price, lining up for A+ setup. This area of interest is very strong on the weekly. 1, 2, 3, and if you want to count this, you can, 4. And the other one above is pretty strong as well. 1 touch, 2, 3, and 4. So we have 4 touches, makes it valid. As I always say, once price breaks structure, what can we expect? This is on any time frame. We can expect a pullback. Now, we don't know if it's going to pull back right here, right? Because price could end up dumping, coming out to start the week, making more candles, and then end up pushing up. So we don't know when to expect a pullback. Sometimes you could tell if price is ranging like this on the daily or the 4-hour. That's how we catch those counter trend trades. But all we know is a pullback is 9 times out of 10 probably going to be coming. So this one's the same exact thing. Either look for it to pull back to here, which is a strong area of interest, just closed under this previous structure last week, or if it doesn't do that, then we'll just be looking for it to come up here and give us the same exact thing. So CAD JPY, number 1 pair. AUD JPY is probably my second pair that I'm really going to be looking for. So make sure that you guys have that on your watch list if you want, of course. Third pair is GBP AUD. Now this one, the weekly is bullish, which is great, but there is no area of interest. However, that's fine. Daily is bullish as well. And on the weekly and daily, we have the EMA under price, looking for buys. So in my opinion, if you want to do the grading, that's an A+ setup. So for this one, all we'll be looking for is for price to pull back to this area, give us our entry, and then continue up. Now, this is a pretty far distance from the area of interest, 234 pips. So not sure if price will come all the way back down into this area of interest and then push up. But if it doesn't and price starts heading down, then next week we'll definitely look for that entry and then for price to continue up. But I noticed this pair last minute when I was doing the setups for this week. And I was a little iffy on it at first, but now that I look back at it, I think it's pretty simple, right? That's what we look for, simple trades, nothing crazy. Price could easily come back, retest. It just looks like that's what it'll do. So, and who knows, if price starts ranging, doing all this, we might just look for a counter trend to take that down, and that would be smooth 200 something pips. So make sure you keep that on your radar as well. Maybe not as your first choice, but it's definitely a choice. Fourth pair is Euro USD. Now this one, as y'all know, I was looking to see if price would respect this weekly area of interest that I just deleted. Ended up respecting it, and price ended up pushing down. So now that the weekly's bearish and the daily's bearish, and we have both the EMA above price, right? This turned into an A+ setup for sells. Clean area of interest that has been respected multiple times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? You can even count these wicks, 6. So this one, as I mentioned, should be pretty simple. Wait for price to enter in, see if we get our entry, and then continue down. And this risk to reward is pretty good. I mean, 100 pips right there. If it continues lower, 168. So just make sure y'all are aware of that. I don't use trend lines, but if anybody uses trend lines, you could probably be aware of something like this. So there's a possibility that price could continue to go up. Not only that, if you want to check out fibs, if you use fibs, then you can see price is right here at the 61.8. That could potentially be used to push price up. So there's different things that can counteract against the way that we're trying to trade. But I really like this pair. I think that price can definitely continue to sell. I would honestly probably put this one above GBP AUD just because price is close to the area of interest. So I think if anything, this one will definitely give us either entry to play out this week, or it might break above and continue higher. So I'll definitely put this one as third. So I'm just saying, make sure you have it on your list if you want. Next one is CAD CHF. Now I do want to point something out about this pair. If we go to the weekly, we see that we are obviously bearish. This is the lower high, and this is the lower low. But you see how the weekly's been moving straight sideways. Even though there is structure within here, majority of the candles have just been moving sideways instead of the typical, right, higher highs and higher lows that we see, or the lower lows and lower highs that we see. So this is, of course, as y'all probably already know, called a ranging market, consolidation market. But there could still be structure in it. So since there could still be structure in it, you just identify market structure the way that we normally do. This daily would be bearish, which will line up the weekly and the daily. The EMA is above price on the daily and above price on the weekly. So that's beneficial for us. So all we'll be looking for is for price to come into this area and then sell. Now, the reason I brought up the ranging and consolidation is because we'd be selling into an area that price has shot up from multiple times, right? You see every time price came into this area, ended up shooting up. So what I had to look at is the risk to reward. Is the risk to reward going to be worth it? Of course, that would all determine stop loss and all that stuff. And that's even if price gets all the way down here. So this one is a possibility. However, I don't think the risk to reward will be as good as the other ones. So that's why it's lower on my list. But CAD CHF, I do think we could see price push up, retest, and then push down this week. Last pair is EURGBP. Now this one, as y'all know, we had for sales last week. However, price never made it to our area of interest, but I reanalyzed it and realized that we could also consider this an area of interest. 1 touch, 2, 3, and if you want to increase it, you can to get that one in there. Really up to you. But we have the daily bearish. The weekly is also bearish. EMA is above on both. So this one is super simple as well. Just be looking for a retest and a continuation. Let me check see how far this is. Okay, so this one might be like CAD CHF, right? Because we don't know how far it's going to go. Of course, we're not going to call the bottom, but we're just looking at where previous structure was and what happened to it. So we see in this area. Price ended up pushing up, came back, gave us a double bottom, pushed up again. So if we get back to this area, we might potentially see price do the same thing, which would only be 50 pips. Nothing too crazy, right? I mean, it's okay, but I'm trying to catch a lot more than that. So just make sure you keep that on your radar if you do enter, if we do get everything we're looking for. But as I mentioned before, I think the first three or four are probably my top pairs. Of course, CAD JPY being the first one, but I think those we could actually see some good movement. The market structure is good, A+ setups, in my opinion, and the risk to reward is great. So y'all be sure to check those out. Of course. So those are the best setups that I have this week. It looks like we have a few good pairs that could actually play out and give us some good pips. I think one thing that I need to work on and just get better at is sticking to A+ setups, right? I'm not saying the daily and the 4-hour in sync isn't a great setup, but I realize that I'm more confident taking the weekly and the daily in sync. So not just for me, you guys should be analyzing, your losses, analyzing how you're feeling throughout each pair or each trade that you take, and really identify what pair you have the most confidence in, or what strategy, if it's the weekly, daily 4-hour, if the EMA is here or there. I think that could really help us all boost our trading to the next level. So of course, if you're profitable, keep doing what you're doing, but there's always room to improve, in my opinion. So that's why I think that's something I'm going to start working on more, is just sticking maybe to weekly and daily setups, just because I'm more confident in it and I feel like they play out more. So with that being said, let's lock in this week and come out with some profits. Y'all stay blessed and y'all go be great. I'll catch you on the next video.